Hey guys, I'm responding to the Unit 2 discussion on public stigma and self-stigma. When I was reading some of the articles about, the stigma and the self-stigma, listening to the video really got me. Tasha, the lady that is a single mother, I really felt bad for her, and not that I didn't feel bad for the other lady by any means. And I'm not discounting what she did. I believe both ladies had a very hard work ethic about themselves, even though they were in two totally different situations. But Tasha really stuck out to me because I could see the defeat that she just had while she was talking. And the one part about where she said, like, when you get your paycheck, it's basically just gone, and you already paid bills, and you have nothing left over. And, she seemed so defeated, and I think her self-stigma is, that she is like stuck there. She doesn't know how to get out of what she's stuck in. And while I do believe that she's trying very hard to make ends meet and do what is best for her and her children, she doesn't want to stay where she is. And I think as a behavioral health care provider and counselors, it's so very important to draw these types of people and these jobs to these small communities. For people like Tasha, you can see the signs to me there of her, her self-confidence, her self-esteem, and just the defeat that she had of, she feels like she's doing all that she can do, but yet it's not good enough, because she's still stuck in the same place that she has been for a long time. And I think the public stigma with the county that she lived in, Bertie County, I think a lot of people would look at the community there, and just from looking at the landmarks, in the video, how it just showed that there was hardly any growth there, and they just looked like rundown buildings that, people would probably snub their nose at those types of counties, saying, well, who would want to live there? They don't really have anything. I think it's very important to be able to have some type of behavioral health care in these communities, to be able to have more access to it. So, those people like Tasha want to be able to do something for herself, for her children, and, for her community. And if you have those people brought to those types of communities, I think you could reduce some of their faulty thinking, and that you could ultimately help them identify some goals that they want for themselves, and achievable goals, not so they would feel so defeated. I also think that the stigma with small communities is like the perception. And I was reading in the article, about the part where the mental health study was done, and it said the meaning of the mental illness stigma, that with the study that they did, in bold it said the perceptions from their personal experience. And I think this goes back to self-stigma as well. People in these types of communities, they don't want to know, or they don't want their neighbor to know maybe that they are going to seek help. And it says that indicated that their understanding of the term mental illness stigma came from a personal experience, and their perception was they didn't want to be seen in a negative light by the people that they did know in their community. And unfortunately, I know in my case, my perception would be I'm a teacher, and if I'm going into a behavioral health facility that's within my community or even near my community, I would be very cautious, because my self-stigma, and I imagine that other people feel this way, no matter what job they hold, is that could be somebody's parent that I serve that's sitting there. And I know, like, the insurance agency that I go to, when the secretary's there, she was a parent of mine. And so I know what I face with those types of situations. I couldn't imagine being able to, walk into a mental health care facility and say, oh, I'm your child's teacher. That public stigma would be there. And unfortunately, social media can be mean. It can be negative. Of how fast, oh, such and such's teacher, came today. And so you do face those types of stigmas. And in small communities, I know you would face them in urban communities, but a small community is a tight-knit family normally. And you know everybody's business, you know the neighbor next door. But also I think that can be a strength for people. I think because deep relationships can happen in small communities, that you also have positive people who work together that could establish and encourage each other. I really do think the people in Bertie County could come together and utilize technology to help themselves, to be able to just encourage each other. And if people know these things, I think people naturally want to help. And just to be able to get that self-stigma out of the way and be able to add health care providers would be a great benefit, especially to people like Tasha.